Good afternoon. Happy Lunar New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. We've got some we got some news for you. All right. In the meantime, if you have any questions, I hope I can answer them. Please post it in the comment section, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or the Facebook group. In the meantime, let's see what I can share with you. Okay, so far, Biden hasn't signed anything related to the PP 10014. I know many of y'all are asking about it or have asked us about it on the previous shows and also when you consulted with us. But there are some other news not related to the PP 1004. And there have been other bills proposed. There, for one, is the DREAM Act by Senators Dick Durbin and Senators Lindsey Graham. They've been doing it practically every congressional session. But there's a couple other ones as well, also called the Secure Act. So if you have any questions in the meantime, please write that in the comment below, the comment section. There's also another bill from Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat out of New Jersey, and also Representative Linda Sanchez, a Democrat out of California. And they're trying to do a more comprehensive bill. The DREAM Act bill proposal, so anytime I say bill, it's more of a proposal. When it becomes law, that would be when it's passed by Senate, passed by the House of Representatives, and then also the third step is signed by the president. So if you're confused if something has become law, nothing has become law yet. It's still, in my opinion, very early, still in the discussion because they're taking care of the American Rescue Plan, the COVID relief plan first. And that has already passed the Senate. So now just by one vote, 51 to 50. And now it's going to the House of Representatives. When that's taken care of, then Congress hopefully will focus on immigration only. Okay, we've got a couple questions. Hi, Jose, nice to see you. Hi, Yusuf. I was just saying that earlier that there is still no update about the PP 10014. It still hasn't, Biden still hasn't signed anything yet related to that. Okay, so I'll check the White House government website because you never know if he signs it randomly, but usually he will update everyone. Yeah, so far nothing related to that. What I also do is I check because this recent news is talking about the infrastructure, talking about the coup in Burma with the military taking over the country of Burma, and climate change crisis. He still hasn't talked about. Hi, Chef. How are you, sir? Yes, he still has not discussed the travel ban, what he's going to do about that. I think the travel ban would be a decision after the PP 10014. Okay, Kanoi. Hi, Kanoi. You've got a question about I-601A. You put RFR. I think you mean RFE. Well, you need to reply before the deadline. I hope you have the documentation so you can respond to it. But if you have a specific question about it, let me know. But if it's too specific, then we would request you to schedule a consultation. This is more of a procedure Q&A here. Thanks, Kanoy. Jose, let's see here. You said if you were to be charged with expedited removal and you re-entered illegally the country, do you have any chance to get status? That'd be very difficult, very, very difficult, unless you have a claim of fear of your birth country, and that's why you left your country to come to America. And of course, the government is very, what do you say? Like they are very strict. Of course, making sure that a person has not filed any kind of fake application. So of course, this has to be based on the truth. They look at something called credibility to make sure you're telling the truth. Okay. So hopefully that helps. But if you're asking more about if the potential immigration bills, proposals would help people in expedited removal, right now, as far as I know, the only bill that has talked about people who have been removed before, there's only been one. And I talked about it in a previous video. And that was presented, filed, introduced by actually a Houston House of Representative, Al Green. Help trying to provide some kind of status for people who had been removed before. And so, but that's the only thing that Al Green has discussed in his bill. That has not, what you're concerned, Jose, that has not been discussed in other of the more comprehensive bills. So stay tuned in our show. We'll keep you updated on that, because I know a lot of people are in a similar situation as you, who may have received a removal order, but on paper, but have not left the country. Hi, Joel. Nice to see you, friend. Nice to see you from Jamaica. Thanks for coming back home to watch our show. So far, Joel, I discussed that President Biden has not changed anything about the travel ban or has not lifted the PP 10014, the visa ban by Trump. And a lot of us immigration lawyers are disappointed in him right now, because you would think that that's something he should be signing already, right? But again, as I discussed before in the previous videos, I think he's trying to take a more strategic approach to discuss with many of the different consulates first. And so as a response to that, this is what we're doing as a law firm. Okay, we're now yeah, that's possible, Chef. I mean, because it ends March 31st. So that's possible because it's mid-February now. And plus, I think it could give people time, the people working at the U.S. consulates and embassies, time to figure out how they're going to reschedule people, right? Because even if he were to lift the ban now, the visa ban, the consulates still probably don't know what they're doing. So they need to figure out the logistics of how to get people scheduled for interview. So with that being said, our resolution, one resolution for you, if your case has been stopped because obviously the travel ban and the visa ban, and you have already paid if there's a fiance visa and you already paid your MVR fee, or you're already married and you're still just waiting for an interview, fill out our intake form down below, because we are considering to file a lawsuit against the State Department of State, because as you can imagine, even when all these bans are removed or end, it's going to be a free-for-all, and you might not be first in line. So we want to have your case prioritized, okay? Especially if your case, have been waiting for really more than a year. I know some of y'all have been waiting since November 2019, for example. You've already had the petition completed before then. So anyway, please fill out the form below. And we have a special announcement we mentioned in a previous video. You may have heard about it. It's our thank you announcement, a free giveaway for those who have not filed their case before. So stay tuned until at least 5 more minutes and we'll announce it. Okay. Now what I do is I check the Department of State website specifically to see if there's any news about okay, we got something. We got something about we got something about the national interest exception. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so we can look at it together. Oh, Joel, you've been waiting for 2 years? What did you file? Please remind me. Did you file a fiance visa petition or a spouse petition? I-130. Let me know in the comment. Your spouse or fiance might need to contact us then. Okay, so let me share my screen. Hi, Joel. Okay, I'm sharing my. Joel, I'll answer your question in a second. Let me get through this. I'm gonna make it bigger for you. Oh, maybe that's too big. Okay. Okay. Well, this is February 10th, 2 days ago. This is related to national interest exception for people. This is basically for the travel people affected by a travel ban. Shenzhen area, UK, and then Ireland specifically. It doesn't mention Brazil or United Kingdom. I know we have some clients from there, some viewers from there. Okay, so you can travel if you fall under this exception. All right, so certain business travelers, investors, treaty traders. Okay, so these are all non-immigrant visas. We call NIV. Academics. So I guess if you're a professor, if you're a student on F1, or journalist, you may qualify for a national interest exception because the PP 10014 and all the related travel bans are still in effect. So the fact that this came out 2 days ago makes me it infers to me that, like what Chef had mentioned earlier, they might not actually plan to lift or remove these bans anytime soon. Man, they may let the PP 10014 just expire March 31st. Okay, so if I scrolling down here to show you, Department of State continues to grant these exceptions for qualified eligible travelers related to humanitarian travel, public health response, and national security. So if it's simply only because of family relationship, unfortunately, that is not enough. Okay, so this came out 2 days ago. All right, so that is what we got so far on that one. Okay, Joel. Oh, Joel. Okay, we got. Your daughter filed for it. Okay, good. Okay, good. But are you still, Joel? Are you still Oh, you have your visa. Okay, good. So you're probably just waiting for the travel ban. I gotcha. Okay, Joel. Thank you for the questions. Please keep letting me know. Let's see. Okay, Joel, your fiance petition is pending at NBC since August 7th. Okay, I'm assuming 2020. Yeah, NBC, and you already paid all your fees. Once you pay all your fees, then your case in general is ready to file a lawsuit against the Department of State. So we're preparing a lot of clients ready to file a lawsuit against the Department of State because of similar situation as you, Joel. So if that's something you consider, we do charge a fee. I know it says you live in Paris, but if your fiance has the funds, we are charging a lower fee if it's with a group of plaintiffs like your fiance. Okay. Pablo, all right. Will your social media be checked? I know this was a rule that was created by President Trump. If I recall, okay, let me check something real quick. If I recall, I thought there was a rule that may have taken this away, that you don't have to, that they don't check it. But even if they don't have this on the form anymore, you should assume that they will try to check your social media. Now, if they won't ask for your password, but they could check if you have a public facing social media. So what you should do is make sure it's private. Set your privacy to private, that only your friends can see your status or any of your posts. Okay. I advise all clients in general to do that. Okay. Joel, we're charging 2,000 for that right now. If it was individual, it's much higher than that. But in your type of situation, we will be charging 2,000 per plaintiff, and the plaintiff would be your U.S. citizen fiance. So yeah, fill out the contact form below in the intake form, and we'll see if you qualify for our lawsuit. Okay, thanks for asking. All right, Yusuf, NVC accepted your documents. Okay, like the financial documents, that's good. And then everything got shut down. How long after expiration of the PP 10014 can you get an interview date? Okay, that's the $1 million question, Yusuf. I wish I knew that. So, and that's why we're filing a lawsuit for cases like yours, Yusuf, because even though your case has been stopped, I think many people are assuming that, number one, they assume that Biden is in office as president now and that he will lift the ban. Clearly, he has not lifted a ban. It's almost 1 month. Okay, 1 week less than 1 month. And he still hasn't done it. He's done a lot of other things for immigration, like tried to pause or stop the deportations for 100 days, which is not technically stopped, by the way, because of the courts stopped the pause. But he has at least prioritized the enforcement priorities with the ICE agency. So that's another discussion. But so to give you an idea, as I mentioned earlier, we are filing a lawsuit because this will help, depending on your timeline of your case, but we'll review it for you, with you, before we would include you in the lawsuit. But so we need to check that out, okay? We won't know when the interview date is. If your case is fiance visa based, let me know in the comment which country either you or your fiance or your spouse is from, and we can check what it says in the visa bulletin to see what the wait time is in general. But if it's a case involving fiance, you need to look into the website, the ustraveldocs.com, and the AIS website, whichever website is relevant to your country, to see if there's any available dates, because that's the way to check for fiance. For fiance visa cases, they're not going to email it to you. You have to check the system at least every week at the minimum. For our law firm, we check twice a week for all our clients. And here, okay, let's see. I do have an update. Okay, going back to a question earlier, Pablo, if you're still listening, I want to share this screen. Okay, this is an announcement, Pablo, from June 4th, 2019. So it's outdated, but as far as I know, this still is in place. Okay, it's not been revoked. And it does allow the Department of State, the consular officers, to collect your social media information. They call it social media identifiers, like your handle, your profile name. So yes, just keep it private. That's my number one tip. Okay. All right. So Joel, your fiance lives in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, we still accept clients from all over the world, and of course the U.S. So the best way is, I think our number is scrolling down below, and we also have an intake form down below where you can click on a link. It says Ting Law. You click on that link and you can fill it out, and we'll help you out. Okay. And then your next question: how long will it take? It takes minimum 2 months because the government has a time of at least 2 months to respond. Okay. But it will take longer than that in general, because the previous cases for the similar situation, it just goes back and forth in terms of having court hearings, but it will take at least 2 months. Okay, Yusuf, your fiance is from, or you or your fiance is from Pakistan, so let's check that out. Okay. Let's check that out for you. Okay, so this is, let me share my screen again so y'all know where to check. Yes, sir. You're welcome, Joel. Okay, friends, if you ever need to know where your, what the wait time is in general, you can check, you can just Google search or whatever you use, bing.com or something, search visa appointment wait time. So that can give you an idea. This won't help if you have a fiance visa case because you have to go into the system. Okay, so I have Djibouti there, but let me check something real quick. Okay, so this is where you scroll down. Again, I mentioned this before. If it shows 999 days, calendar days, that means they're only working on emergency cases. So let me find for Pakistan. Okay, but if you have any questions in the meantime, please drop it below. Okay, now let's try to remember the name of the consulate. Okay, Lahore. Okay, so it shows closed in general. So if it shows closed here, then that's for sure meaning it's closed for the immigrant visas as well. So that kind of give you an idea. Hey, hi Batu, nice to see you. Yes, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Joel, how to check the K1 visa bulletin? Now, there is no visa bulletin specific to K1, unfortunately, to give us an idea or processing time. But I think what you mean is to check your interview dates, what's available. So you have to log into the separate website, the U.S. Travel Docs website or the AIS website. On these live shows, we try to include those links already, but if it's not there, I will definitely add it after the show. So we got about 7 minutes left. Okay, so I mentioned, Agnes, stay tuned. We do have information about a special announcement for free representation, and we'll mention it after answering this question. Agnes, you had a question about DV winners. Okay, what about that? So let's check that for you, okay? Okay. Let me see for you, okay? I do remember there was some information about it. Well, congratulations if you won the diversity visa. But yes, there are lawsuits to there are lawsuits pending right now, processing to get people who have won the diversity visa to get the actual visa, right? Because everything's closed. So let's see if there's any information here about this. 2020, you're 2021. What I'll do, if you fill out the intake form below, specifically, okay, write down that you're asking about the diversity visa. But I know there's a lawsuit pending right now. I just can't find it right now for some reason. But I'll send it to you, okay? Because those instructions could give you an idea of what to do next. Okay, Agnes. So I hope that helps. Okay, fill out the intake form. Put your email in there, and we'll email you the lawsuit information if you need to, do anything about that. Okay, Batu, you've been here since '97. under removal, is there any way that you can qualify? Oh, you already have a removal order? It really just depends. I would need more information. Number one, if you have left the United States afterwards, you don't have to respond in these comments right here. If you can fill out an intake form down below, all right, include your email and phone number so we can contact you, and we'll ask more. We'll have more questions in the intake form that you can answer, and then we'll respond with more information. Okay, hopefully that will help. But in general, a person cannot get status with a removal order, but there are ways. It is possible. It's very limited situations. Okay, so please fill out the intake form. Joel, you had a question about what I was mentioning about the K-1 visa bulletin. There is no K-1 visa bulletin. There is a visa bulletin in general, but that's for immigrant visas. Okay, K-1 is a different situation. Okay, what you mean by K-1 visa bulletin, if you're talking about the when the interviews will be available, you need to check the websites that I have below. I hope you have registered an account with that subcontracted company, all right, that the United States contracts with. It's ustraveldocs.com, and another one with AIS. It's kind of long, so that's why we'll put it in the link in the description box below. Okay, so hopefully that helps. We'll have another video, friends. We'll have another video tomorrow talking about all the different bills proposed. There's a lot, so I don't want to go and talk about each one right now. Okay, but there are several proposed, so that's a good thing. So that gets the conversation started. I know people are asked about the essential workers bill. So far, there's no progress on that. Okay. Also, right now, there's a lawsuit against DACA in general. Okay, and a judge might make a decision pretty soon. All right, probably in the next couple of weeks at the earliest. Okay, and that could really force the government to make a decision about people who have DACA. Okay. Texas and a couple other Republican states filed a lawsuit against DACA to say it was illegal, unlawful. A couple other things. If you are someone applying for H-1B or thinking about it or having a company sponsor you, the window period to register is March 9th. That's when it opens up. Okay, it costs $10 for the employer to pay it, so it's a very low cost step. Okay, and you have until March 25th to register. Okay, of course, the earlier the better, so you don't forget, because after that period, you can't apply for H-1B unless you work for an educational institution, for example, or a nonprofit. Okay, there's no deadline for those type of entities. Okay, in terms of the proposed rule by President Trump about the wages, if you're going through employment or H-1B, President Trump was trying to make it like a bidding war. So the higher that the employer pays, the more likely you would be approved for H-1B. But President Biden was able to remove that rule, delay it until the end of the year, so they can deal with that later. They don't want anyone to be confused right now because of the H-1B season starting really soon. Okay, so hopefully that helps. The other thing is that the United States got out of the agreement with Guatemala for asylum agreement. They announced that they were drawing from the asylum cooperative agreement. It was an agreement between Trump and Guatemala saying that if people from Central American countries or even Mexico come to the United States for seeking asylum, that they can be sent back to Guatemala, even though if you're not from Guatemala, you'd be sent to Guatemala. So anyway, the United States is not doing that anymore. So that's a good thing. That really is a strong indication that President Biden is trying to help asylum seekers and do it the right way, not to send people back to a Central American country. That just doesn't make sense. So glad that Biden is doing that right now. We got, I believe, one more question. Joel, I answered this earlier, but no, I don't believe the ban would be lifted right now. Previous shows, I thought that the ban could be the visa ban, at least, because there's a couple different bans. But the visa ban, I thought the visa ban could be removed by Biden sometime in February. The earliest I thought was mid-February, and here we are in mid-February, actually, because, I already know that presidents need at least a month in office to take care of some matters, and especially with coronavirus. I know that that the visa ban was not number one, and if I think one of the bans will be lifted, it would be the visa ban before the travel ban, because there's still the issue with the coronavirus. Okay, so that's why it's important about the lawsuit. If you are interested about it and you have been delayed an interview, fill out an intake form below, okay, friends? Because you need to make sure that your case will be prioritized. There's no guarantee just about that the government would prioritize your case just because in the future the bans are lifted. You should not assume that, okay? So fill out the intake form below. We'll have a conversation, individual conversation, and we'll talk soon, okay? And please subscribe down below. If you're new to our channel, smash the like button for us. That really lets us know you love our content. And tomorrow, I said I was going to do this. The announcement, I mentioned this in a previous show, but we're offering free representation for people who do a couple things for us, okay? Number one, you have to qualify that you have to have income under 150% of a minimum poverty guideline. So we will provide the instructions after this show. But number one, if you could subscribe to our channel. Number two, like us, follow us on Facebook page. Okay, the links are down below in the description box, and also put a hashtag, okay, or tag your friend, tag another friend, okay, and also do the hashtag on an Instagram account. Green Card Guys is our Instagram name, and just tag Green Card Guys, actually, and so that lets us know that you've done all these steps, okay. And of course, number four, you have to fill out the intake form so that we'll know that you have done all these steps. And that link is down below. And that's about it. So until next time, friends, please continue wearing a mask and stay safe, okay? Take care now. Bye-bye.